Hi, welcome. We're at the end of week 2 of the legislative session. Thanks for taking a few minutes to watch a little video update that I'm sending out to you. Hope this finds you well. We're going to be in warm weather next week. I hope that works out nice for you. I look forward to being able to walk outside again with sidewalks free of ice. As we're going through here, I just want to update you about several things that are going on in the legislature. And I want to start with education. I guess you guys probably know education is a passion of mine. I'm a former school teacher, former administrator, and even though I'm in a separate business now, education is still a passion of mine. I really want to make sure that we provide the education that's right for every child, and that we are empowering teachers and families to work together to find what the education is for the best education is for each child. And from that standpoint, I'm working really hard this year on a whole slate of bills and working with several other legislators on a group of bills that I'm calling Teacher Empowerment and Retention. I'm going to go over a couple of those that I'm working on. My Teacher Empowerment bill that just released this week, it's Senate Bill 137, so I'd encourage you to take a look at it. It has some changes in the way that teachers are supported and how they're trained and empowering them with authority. And then I've got a separate bill that'll be out next week on teacher compensation that's going to set the standard in Utah that our highest quality teachers who are doing the best work and who have the most impact on the kids that need it are going to be making $100,000 a year. I want to make sure that teaching is really a viable career, and that everybody who enters the profession knows that if they work hard and they become one of the top performing teachers, that they'll be able to make that $100,000 a year. I'm really excited about that, and I hope that we can use these bills to really have a culture change in education that just shifts the expectation so that teachers know going in, this is a career I can support my family on. I think that is just going to be just fantastic. So keep watching. I'll update that with you as we go on this session. I also want to touch base on a couple of bills that passed the House last week and that passed the Senate this week. It's House Bill 257 and House Bill 261. These generated some controversy, so you may have seen about it in the news. I know a lot of you emailed me about it, and I conducted a survey on it last week. So I want to thank all of you that responded to that survey. And it shows that the people that I represent have a mix of views. It can be hard to balance those things sometimes. Of course, I know that on bills like this, no matter how I vote, a portion of my constituency is just going to be upset with that. But I have worked hard on these bills to get them to a place where I felt like they were worthy of my support. I voted for both of them. House Bill 257 is called something like Privacy and Equality for Women. I'm sure we'll put the title on the bottom. It's kind of a long title. But from my standpoint, what it does is it equalizes things for women's sports. For example, when I was growing up, and it still happens, the girls' basketball game was always at 4 o'clock, and the boys' basketball game was always at 7 o'clock. And that meant the boys had a really nice, big, raucous crowd, and the girls' crowd was much smaller. We're going to make sure that girls and boys sports are treated fairly and equally, so that not one always has the exclusive right to be able to play their games when people are able to come to the game. And then it also defined what man and women, like there's a definition of man and woman and transgender, and we seek to protect rights for everybody and making sure that people are using the proper facilities in a place like locker rooms or restrooms where it might be in a state of undress and where privacy is really important. House Bill 261 was equal opportunity initiatives. That has to do with government agencies and educational institutions, making sure that they stay politically neutral and that they provide equal opportunity for all, regardless of race or gender or orientation. I really worked hard to be able to get both of those bills, and I supported both of them. Something else that was fun this week at the legislature is we were able to recognize Surya Kapu. He's a South Jordan resident who finished third in the Scripps National Spelling Bee. We're just so proud of him and the hard work and the study that he did. And we were able to bring him onto the floor, recognize him in both the House that I partnered with Representative Jordan Tusher from South Jordan, and we also got recognition of him in the Senate. He and his family came. It was a really special experience for them, and I'm glad we were able to make that recognition. As we're now 2 weeks through, this week we adopted what we call base budgets. And that's kind of a technical sounding term. What that means is, in Utah, our process is different. Right now, you can see in the news that Congress is on the precipice of yet another government shutdown because they wait until the very last minute to solve problems. But in Utah, we don't operate that way. Early on in our legislative session, we pass a base budget to eliminate the possibility of brinksmanship. And the crux of the state budget is now done. There will be some changes over the next 5 weeks as we make additions or changes to the state budget. But right now, if the legislature took no further action, our government would continue to function. We would still be building roads. We'd still be funding schools. We just eliminate the threat of a government shutdown, and we do that through process. And that process works really well. And it really helps. It's part of what makes Utah the best managed state in the country. And I've talked to you about a lot of things that are unique about the way we do things in Utah, and these base budgets are one of them. Just as Surya was able to come up this week to join me on the Senate floor, I'd like to invite you, if you're interested in coming and sitting by me on the Senate floor during debate. I'd be happy to welcome you. You just need to reach out to me by phone or email. And my contact information is on the screen. Stay in touch about any topic that's on your mind. I hope those of you who contacted me about any bill over the last 2 weeks got a response. And I know that my responses aren't always the ones that you want to hear, but you always have my commitment that I will read every email, return every phone call, and respond and involve you in the process. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week.